Another place that I consider as high threat, and this is actually all fighters. When you're playing fighters, when you put your belly up to somebody, that's the point where you better know what's going to be over there because now you're belly up. And so where do we do that? We do that between base and front. So you hear me say this, you go with me. As you turn base, your attention, and as flying fighters, the guy that always kills you is the guy that, when you do a better, he's the guy that you don't see. He always shoots you in the back. So, or the one you're belly up to. So you have to check that spot. So as you turn, you come off base, and you do your turn to base, and your attention is going to be down there on the runway. It's just kind of like when you get killed in VFM. You're going to take a shot in 2 seconds, and then you get it from behind. Because you're concentrating there. So we turn base. That's where we're going to land, and I look over there, and I make sure that guy's right now not there. Because I'm going to turn belly up to them and go on that way. Okay? And so a lot of these guys that you're going to turn belly up to are these guys flying with airplane students. They're yelling at them and the students not listening, and so they're distracted. And they can't see us anymore. So we're the guys who can see, take advantage of that, realize how good our visibility is, but you've got to have these habits. Okay, radios. This will be part of the meeting, but I think we need to get a radio for Mike Golf because that radio sucks. And we need to do a couple new mics. We need to order these things. We need to have good radios in the airplanes because they're part of, not just for ourselves, but if we're in a plane like in Mike Golf, we can hear everyone else talking just fine. So we have good SA. And we help those guys by making these radio calls. They don't hear us. So we're not building their SA. We want to build that for everybody else. So we need good radios. So all the radios work a little bit different. Don't ask the instructor how they work because he doesn't never have control over them, so he doesn't know. so get each plane's radios a little bit different. Figure out how they work and how you can change frequency. And the next part is how you talk in radios. We have 3 of the problems here in radios. The first one is you speak very good English. He's got it. Some guys don't. So when you have an accent, it's hard to understand. The next part is that a couple guys don't speak very loud. And like Ray over there and Dominic are soft-spoken guys. And then the third one is female voices. I love females, but they're terrible on radio. So we used to. Well, what we used to always say is, we'd always say, you have your radio voice, and your radio voice, you got to put balls into your voice. Hey, this is blah, blah, blah. And you just have that for your radio voice. You a baritone voice, a distinct baritone. This is L23 right down. This is not how we talk. But you do on the radio, these short phrases, that gets your voice over the radio waves. People understand where you are, know their essays, and they don't get you. Okay? And also, if the mic's over here and you're talking like that, it doesn't work. When you're wearing a helmet, you take your mic and your mic's actually touching your lips, right there. So on these mics, I guess we're all kissing each other, but you put that mic up right there and you're talking right to that mic. Okay, that's how it works. We got alcohol all around here. You can fix it up later on. Tim.
One thing with the radios we got, radios will say instead of who give that idea to break that.
You're late. You're late. You're going to have to watch this because we talked about that. We even went through the radios, get different kind of radios, have a radio when you're food. Because somebody's going to be yelling at you anyway. Hear your cell phone too, just in case your radio doesn't work.
Since we're talking about radios, make sure you listen up with some of the guys and applaud some of the guys and know that most of the radios work. A lot of people work as well. So I don't know if you guys switch off the radios, don't do that. Unless you have to say call but really listen. If it's somebody else, don't just ignore it. Really find out and try to find out what every call means. And if you know what you mean, I don't care, then you cannot care. But if you're unsure, call the guy again. Hey, say again, I didn't get your last transmission. And then say again.
Well, I'm glad you brought this up too, because there's another little part that always seems rude. But when the radio, in the middle of a conversation, when there's a radio transmission, you shut up. Then proceed on right where you stopped. You don't have to start it over. You don't start from the beginning again, but you just make that break so you're both listening to the radio, and then continue on with that thought after that radio comes on. Do not talk when there's radio conversations. And I'll tell you what, as instructors, as we listen, and you know right away it's when you don't need to listen to it. When we have overrides switches, which we have 5%. But anyway, that's just a mention. When you stay on 122.8 around here, there is the glider free. I think it's 123.3. The only time I ever use that is when I go really far away, flying with somebody else. We're flying together. We do stuff. We'll get on the glider free and actually go hear guys from the radar and so that free. But around here, we are concerned about the traffic in this area, and 122.8 is pretty much what I was listening to. So stay on it. Okay, oxygen. Dominic, I'm going to use you as an example, but firstly, Dominic, I think that you're oxygen depraved 2 weeks ago, or a week ago. Yeah, slightly. And what that means is that you were flying drunk, because that's what hot oxygen is. Dominic was up at about 12.5 for about 2.5 hours. Yeah. Fine, that's the rules. You don't have to be, no breaking rules. It's at 12.5. Dominic also probably hasn't destroyed as many brain cells as some other people were able to. And he made a mistake coming back, and it was kind of a mistake that Dominic doesn't make. Dominic makes mistakes like we all do, but they're these real quick ones. He had a bigger mistake, and it was an extended mistake. And it's oxygen time. You're flying that high. You know, I tell you guys to read the flight manual. I say, hey, skip those first couple chapters because they're kind of boring this time. You want to get into flying. But that first chapter, they start off with physiological aspects of flying gliders. And they're huge. Of all the civilian airplanes, we're the ones that get into them the most. In fighters, we were at that big time. And it was super critical. And but we had lots of systems that took care of it. In fact, if you remember a few years ago, when F-22 had their box on board oxygen generation system, had some issues with it. And it's a big deal. So we're up flying in the teens on a regular basis. How many times do you fly in the teens in a 172? Not very often. They don't get up there. It takes too long to get up there. How high have you been in our 150? It took like forever to get there, right? I've been up there once. It was on the way back when I think about it. So, yes. And took forever to get up there, and man, that's high. 14.5 is really high. And yes. And yet 14.5 glider, we'll go up there for hours. Okay? And that's why we have oxygen on board. You have to know how to service the equipment. You have to know how to use that equipment, and then you have to use it. So the rules, 12.5, above 12.5 for half an hour, you got it on. Above 14,000 at any time you have it on. So, what I do is that if it looks like it's one of those days that's going to be going great, and I'm passing 10,000, I put my oxygen on. And actually, I start off before that because a couple of these planes, Mike Golf, you make sure you have oxygen in the airplane before you take off. Mike Golf, you got to turn that, unless you've got some special arms over me, I can't turn that on in Mike Golf. So L23, I can reach behind and get it. Echo 4, I don't think I can get it Echo 4 either. So you got to turn it on. If you have any idea that you're going to be using oxygen that day, you have to prepare for it. You have a service, you have it turned on, and you have your filler with you, so you can plug in. And then if I'm passing 10, it looks like it's one of those days, I put it on when I'm passing 10, tighten it up, do my thing, and then I set the regulator for 15,000 is what I do. And I set the regulators, just turn it, rotate the handle until the little ball goes to 15,000 feet. pack it away, and you're good. Check it every once in a while, every hour or so when you're up there. Make sure you got oxygen. And the other part is the guys who flew fighters in here have all been through altitude chambers, and all the pilots have all been through military pilots have been through altitude chambers. And we know what our things that happen to our body. I'll go through some of mine. Some of mine tingling sensation, or tingling or numbness. Fingernails turn purple. Your lips turn purple. You kind of, well, you can't see your lips in the plane. Might believe you can. There's a mirror there. Take a look at your lips. You might feel like you've had a few beers or whatever that feeling is. Your breathing may change. You either get a little panting or something like that, or it just doesn't feel quite right. And you want to be really sensitive to feeling these things. And if you do, it's time to get on down. When you're in two-seaters, you talk to each other. You just say how you doing, you're feeling good, you do your thing, and you keep up with each other. Single seat, you're by yourself, and we're flying in an area where you can get drunk, and you can get major serious issues. Okay, so you have to be, you got to recognize that. We have all the equipment and everything here to take care of it for you, but you have to be part of the process. Anything else, Akshay?
Especially like here, oxygen containers rather small, but designed for plants and oxygen system. Now we have continuous flow there. If you use it, the person scripted can tell about 1.5 to 2 hours. So really check it. Maybe don't waste any. You plan for a long flight, and if it's empty, it's empty. It's not just serious issues. You can or get unfortunate from that.
If you die, yeah, all this stuff is real, and that's why I think that's what happened on the tubes. He said 12.5, that's not very high. Yeah, it is. 12.5 in a few hours. Absolutely. Okay. Let's see, I'm going to go through a couple accidents. I'm going to read about accidents in 2014. Yes.
Address the lying below the mountain top, when we are near the mountain, where to turn to.
Okay, what I teach people is that what the book says is don't ever turn into the mountains. Well, what does that mean? I mean, how about we're right here and they're 5 miles away? What I do is that I give myself a minimum of 2 turn radiuses away from the mountains. That's 2 turn radiuses with wind effects. Okay, and the wind effect may be more than a turn radius. Okay, so as I'm getting close to those things, I get a real good feel about how big my turn radius is, and I'm giving myself a minimum of 2. Okay, that's my personal technique. What do you use, Dennis?
When I'm flying close now, it's always turn away. If I turn into it, well, it's kind of the same. Either I want to have a way out, meaning if I turn into it, that I still have the time to reverse and go into the body or whatever, or I have enough energy to just, have a pitch or whatever.
Right.
Turning into it, it's difficult to judge now.
Exactly. That's why I did myself 2 of them. Not 1, 2 of them. And then, but what Dennis said was the most critical factor. You always give yourself an out. Turn into a mountain because, well, I think I can make it. Well, it turns out, no, you can't. So now you bank it up, step on the rudder. We're putting ourselves where it's those rotating events, putting ourselves in a bad situation.
Plus, some extra energy. Don't just fly through and sing close to the mountains. You want to fly above the yellow triangle. If you fly close to it, fly close or whatever, there's a minimum to have the extra energy.
We used to always say, we'd say, hey, let's do 5 knots per mile and then another 5 kids. Okay, speed is life. And yeah, it's not optimal performance, but screw optimal performance. Now we're going for safety, okay, because we want to complete the mission. Okay, here's some accident data from 2014.
Sorry, but what we didn't talk about is that second P from our planning. And I've noticed several people, young and old, have been in Mexico flying here for several years, or just a couple of months. A lot of people are unsure of the airspace here in town. So take your time if you're unsure. Look at the map. If you have questions about it, ask a guy that knows about it. I know people that have flown into broken million of the airspace without knowing it, or even more dangerous, knowing it. And that's the biggest stupid. So talk to someone, don't fly in those stupid airspace. It can either cost your license or it can either cost you income. Because if we are flying in there, we're not looking out that much as military pilots, hearing that we normally do outside because we have a mission and we are a little more hands-on. And we have found out that pretty much the same thing we have found. The second thing is, and a lot of pilots in Germany, many years are lazy about it, check the notions and TFRs. Just do it. If you fly in there, it's going to cost you a lot of money and it may cost just do it, be sure what happens in flying and be sure what others are doing.
Except for the rockets.
Yeah, I could cover that.
Yeah.
Just for the airspace thing, the F-16 do use the peaks, you know, that you've seen that on, I don't know, the Raptors, and Raptors are usually up like 30, 40, whatever, big build all the way down to 12,500 MSL, and then just to the north of Cloud Top, everything all the way to Sierra Blanca, all the way over to almost Roswell. So if you're flying during the week in the summer, just be careful about doing that above 12.5 thing. We're going to fly all the way down to that like I said, especially when you're fighting when you're saying like you think you're in some blood protected airspace, you're not looking at much, and we don't really get very much traffic going through it. So fly over the mountain and we already have to get way through.
And when that's going to happen is we're flying during the week. It's probably for one or two reasons. We're going to do some training right here, or because it looks like it's a kick-ass soaring day. So you're up there, right where you have 16s. Okay.
Not just talk to Homeland, also talk to other countries, and I had no incident, but just reported my position was just almost Sierra Blanca Mountain at 14,000 feet. The tornado was coming back, and they reported him at 40,000. He passed right underneath me on 1,000 feet low. I talked to the guy later on, Albuquerque, but he was actually reported in control. They did not give him any measure to avoid me, so they just made a decision because he knew I was 40 to descend. They wanted to give him violation because he was high power, so ATC does not always provide a good vector, but at least they provide the info. Yeah, and prevent a close passage or